One, two, three, four. You can't make me stay indoors. 5, 6, 7, 8. Trump is keeping America great. 1, 2, 3, 4. The Democrats will make us all poor. 5, 6, 7, 8. Coronavirus more like deep state.
What's that, little boy?
The name's MAGA Boy, but on the Proud Boys Reddit page I'm on, I'm known as liberate_America_Trump 2020 _incel _suck these nuts _ha _Godim _Hillary _is _Staten _fuck _Pete _Smith. Did I mention _suck these nuts? Or Chad for short. Who are you?
Well, the name's Pete Smith. I narrated the What a Phony newsreels from the 1930s, one of the very first examples of satiric news. We've met several times. Do you not remember me killing myself in front of you by jumping off the roof of an old folks' home? Twice?
Oh, yeah, I remember now. Are you going to do it again on this live stream?
Probably. Now, what's all this racket you're making? You seem to be pro-virus?
You can't steal my liberty, Pete Smith.
I'm not stealing anything.
Release me from the shackles of white privilege.
Wait, you think you're the victim here?
Just like our dear leader, I'm always the victim, but simultaneously a rugged, self-made man. But I'm also being victimized all the time, which doesn't interfere at all with what a tough guy I am. No homo. I'm the victim.
I'm confused. Why are you at this rally?
To be liberated from the shackles of public health.
I think you're misinformed, MAGA boy.
Don't try to inform me. Only the Republican Party can trick me into supporting rich white men who pass legislation that negatively affects me by convincing me that everyone is trying to steal my liberty. Would you like me to regurgitate some right-wing talking points?
No.
I'm no sheep. Freedom over fear. USA, USA, USA.
Logic is hard for you, isn't it?
Nope, I just pretend it doesn't exist.
But it does.
Everything is going to be fine. The last job of the official in charge of the government's response was breeding labradoodles.
Well,
Plus, Bill Gates is obviously making this virus so that he can sell it to us as a vaccine so that he can implant us with microchips.
Well, that's batshit crazy, MAGA boy. That's just batshit crazy.
But I believe it with all my heart. And so do millions just like me. Feeling good about November?
No. Well, looks like third time's a charm for old Pete Smith here to jump off the roof of that old folks' home.
It's just like the flu.
More people died in 1 month from COVID-19 than the annual total from the flu, and that's with very strict social measures.
Sure, that's what the numbers say, but your data doesn't hold up to the fact that we all know this is really because of 5G.
What?
Plus, we all know that this was started in a Wuhan, which I've been told is called Wuhan lab. Chinese virus.
That's just not true.
Doesn't matter to me. Plus, we all know, thanks to Senator Tom Cotton, that the virus is a biological weapon.
Ah, well, Tom Cotton is a moron. He thinks Shakespeare is American.
Who's Shakespeare? Gay! But he says it in a non-crazy tone, so the media thinks he's smart. Plus, we all know the U.S. military really imported COVID from China.
Why would they do that?
Dr. Fauci is a secret deep state agent.
I don't think so.
Remember, in my brain, my opinion trumps actual facts. Pun intended. USA, USA.
Okay, yes, USA, but facts.
But are meaningless. Plus, we all know they are inflating the death rate by saying that anyone who died of COVID died of COVID. Can you believe that? Coincidence? Seems kind of strange to say that someone died from COVID.
The New York Times released a study showing the death toll is actually being vastly undercounted.
Don't make me laugh. Okay, thanks for quoting the failing New York Times and your study filled with facts and data. What a liberal hoax. Plus, we all know that this is all China's fault.
But Trump did nothing for several months, including ignoring many daily briefings that told him China was not revealing information.
If by nothing you mean he praised China, correctly identified this as a hoax, and then spread mountains of false information, correct. Like I said, China's fault.
That doesn't make any sense.
What about COVID's 1 through 18? Don't hear about them too much.
It was discovered in 2019. That's
Smells
why they
like some Clinton, George Soros, deep state shenanigans to me. Where's the private server, Pete Smith? Where are her emails?
How many more of these right-wing conspiracy theories do you believe in?
How long's the show?
It depends who you ask.
Benghazi!
Are you okay?
Pretty much my whole life is a right-wing conspiracy theory, which brings me to my next point. Nancy Pelosi!
What about her?
My fellow trolls know. The trolls always know.
What do you say we combat some of that disinformation, MAGA boy?
You can say it, I won't hear it.
I'll take what I can get.
You can refute it, but I won't believe it.
How many of these do you have?
Your proof is really just proof that I'm right.
This is going to be a long show.
Unless the FBI shuts me down for spreading too much truth. They framed Michael Flynn. They knew he lied to them, and then they let him keep lying. What a hit job.
Can we just get this over with?
Welcome to the All Right News Hour Report Online Edition with Matt Fordyce and Joey Lowe.
Welcome, everybody, to the All Right News Hour Report.
Online edition.
Everything's going to be all right. I'm Matt Can't Stop Eating Cookies Fordyce.
And I'm Joey. Looks like I'll be back for an extra semester love. How are you?
I'm terrible. How are you?
Awful. Let's get to the headlines.
Great. Last week, President Trump suggested that we could put the sun's rays under our skins to kill the virus, then suggested we could inject disinfectant into our bodies.
Remember last show when we said that there was nothing too stupid for Trump to say? Then we listed all the stupid stuff he might say. Well, I guess we weren't thinking stupid enough.
And that's saying something, because we're pretty stupid.
I'm failing math.
And here I was thinking Trump putting a former Labradoodle breeder in charge of the pandemic response was going to be the dumbest thing he did this week.
There's never a dumbest thing, Matt. There's only the next thing.
Wow. That might be the most insightful thing you've ever said.
Go Birds.
Go Birds. When people inevitably began ingesting disinfectant, Trump dodged responsibility. When asked if he thought the spike in people using disinfectant was related to his comments, Trump responded,
I can't imagine why.
When the reporter asked Trump, do you take any responsibility? He defaulted to his now signature response to the coronavirus outbreak.
No, I don't.
At the same rambling press conference, Trump then seemed to make a confession, saying,
there has been so much unnecessary death in this country. It could have been stopped, and it could have been stopped short, but somebody a long time ago, it seems, decided not to do it that way. And the whole world is suffering because of it.
Somebody indeed. Trump was reportedly warned about the virus on an almost daily basis in January and February through his presidential daily briefing reports, but the intelligence agencies forgot that our president is illiterate and almost never reads those reports. In recent months, Trump's even begun to skip the oral summaries that are given to him. Rather than heed the warning and take action, Trump spent 2 months spreading disinformation about the virus.
A recently released talking points memo for Republican candidates urged Republicans to deflect to China whenever Trump is criticized. So, like your independent thinking right-wing friends on Facebook who don't trust the media unless it is a Ben Shapiro article, let me just say, oh yeah, who you should really be mad at is China. So
yeah.
China.
Yeah, Wrigley is furious at China. During a rally disguised as a press conference on Thursday, Trump repeated his quid pro quo for giving federal money to blue states, telling them, if we do that, we're going to have to get something for it.
Good thing he's never done any quid pro quos before and gotten away with it.
During the impeachment hearings, a hypothetical of Trump holding up aid to democratically run states was proposed as a possibility that was resoundingly dismissed by conservatives as absurd.
Susan Collins is disappointed in you pointing out her disappointment in her previous disappointment.
Plus, we all know Democratic states like New York and California are two of the largest sources of federal revenue, giving millions of more dollars to the federal government than they receive in return. But please, Joey, tell me some more about how fiscally responsible Republicans are.
Matt, everyone knows that tax cuts for the wealthy cut taxes for the wealthy. Duh, you communists.
I forgot. It trickles down to the rest of us in the form of crippling economic collapse. In other news, Trump suggested this week that he looks forward to resuming his rallies within the next week or two, even rushing the manufacturing of red MAGA face masks. Can't see any issue with that.
What could go wrong with a bunch of angry white people getting together in close proximity during a national crisis?
We'll get to that in a minute. But in other stupid news, Mike Pence visited the Mayo Clinic this week and decided to defy the hospital's policy of wearing a face mask.
Pence, who says he's the VP so he gets tested all the time, said he didn't want to wear a mask because he wanted to look people in the eye.
We live in the dumbest time. But also, hey, Mayo Clinic. Make them wear a fucking mask. There's a time for Minnesota nice, but now is not it. Like, why are so many people afraid to stand up to this administration? You want the photo op so you can pretend that you're doing something to combat the virus? Then you need to follow public health rules. If he won't wear a mask, then don't let him in.
To be fair,
he agrees with me.
To be fair, Mike Pence doesn't think that smoking causes cancer, so he's probably not an expert on public health. And he did wear a mask the next day in Indiana after a day of public shaming. Public shaming, an American tradition since 1692.
I mean, what is there left to say? This has been a colossal disaster. Tens of thousands of people are needlessly dying because we elected a moron president. And if you can't see that, you're just willfully misinformed. I mean, God, what's it going to take? How many more people have to die? Fuck! Comedy show!
On the plus side, did you see that groundhog in Philly eating that pizza?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, go Birds. I thought you might be a little down. So I spent the last week tracking him and I actually caught him. Do you want to talk to him?
Yeah. But don't you think you should have spent that time studying for math?
Yes, but you only get one chance to track the pizza groundhog. I named him Bill Furry. Huh? You get it? Get it? Like Groundhog Day starring Bill Murray and the musical Groundhog Day?
Yeah, no, I get it. We all get it. We get it. That's very clever.
Do you want to see him? Like, I could have named him Doug Peterson, like Doug, but like digging, like Doug.
Yeah, I get it. I want to see him.
Fine. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? It's great to be here. I just moved down here from a golf course in Warminster where I used to ban Irish people. I had to get out of there because the food, no bueno. But let me tell you, the food around here, not too shabby, huh? Look, I bet you're wondering to yourself, hey, how does a gopher like you get famous from a whole slice of pizza like that, huh? Well, I'll tell you. Like I said, I just moved down here because my wife found out about my massive gambling problem, as she puts it. Look, I play a little poker with the boys on the green and lose a little bit of money here and there. Sue me. When I told her this, she was not amused, let me tell you. Mostly for the fact that when I said little, I was referring to the size of the poker set and cash itself. I mean, I'm a gopher. A human money would look ridiculous in these tiny hands. They're so tiny. She found out I actually lost $400,000 in monies, cash, and assets to the boys. So she kicked me out. What are you going to do? So, I'm Joe burrowing along and no idea where I'm going to go. So I get on a landline and I call my buddy Puxatawny Phil, but he didn't pick up, probably avoiding my shadow, thinking I'm going to ask him to spot me for a few $1,000 or something. Eventually, I crash at my buddy Gus's place. The second most famous groundhog in Pennsylvania. Side note, you would think with all those lottery commercials, he'd be rolling in cash. Nope. He's just like Carson Wentz's ACL in 2017. It's broke. And so neither of us have any money, and we're both starving.
So we do a little more digging, and wouldn't you know, Gus's next door neighbor had a half a box of pizza just laying next to the trash for anyone to enjoy. And I have little to no self-worth, so I picked up a slice and started eating it. Next thing you know, Gus's neighbor is filming me and puts me on the YouTube, and now I'm more famous than that New York City pizza rat. You hear that, you Mets-loving Charles Entertainment cheese wannabe? I run these pizza-infested streets, you piece of shit. And if anyone wants more pizza-related content, you can subscribe to my OnlyFans at Sexy Gopher Pizza 69. So have a good night.
Pizza Gopher, everybody. That was really enlightening. It's a Pizza Gopher. Okay, another pop culture news. The Netflix documentary Tiger King has gripped the nation, reminding us that there are people other than Eric and Don Jr. who shoot wild animals for fun.
Don Jr. loved the show, but reportedly wanted more tiger killing. Hashtag Tiger Queen, hashtag no homo, hashtag I'd fuck Carol Baskin.
Jr. formed a very strong connection with the show's subject, Joe Exotic, because both men have weird hair, a father who doesn't love them, and will eventually end up in prison. Hashtag my dad doesn't love me, hashtag I fucking suck, hashtag Junior King.
Hashtag I cry when I masturbate.
Was that for you or Junior?
It was for the Tigers. How long until Trump pardons Joe Exotic and puts him in charge of the pandemic response?
3 weeks, maybe 2.
Everybody can get some of this Tiger King brand Lysol-infused vaccine except for that bitch Carol Baskins. That Carol Baskins is going to get her a Bill Gates tracking chip with her vaccine so we can all track her dead husband. Carol Baskins done invented this here coronavirus, so I'm going to send Carol Baskins a rattlesnake bomb in the mail.
You know that Joe Exotic isn't from Philadelphia, right? Your impression sounds like some dude selling Lenny Dykstra jerseys out of the back of a van where he raises pigeons who only eat cheesesteaks and boo Santa Claus.
That's fair. But Philly is America's birthplace, so technically everybody's from Philly. So go Birds.
Go Birds. There's Hank, everybody.
Carol Baskins killed her husband.
I mean, so did Joe Exotic, if you think about it.
Don't tell me you're team Carol Baskins.
What?
Did you secretly vote for Trump?
No.
Admit she killed her husband.
Why?
Do it, you awkward draft. I need this.
Fine. Carol Baskin killed her husband. You happy?
Yes, I am. In other news, Chris Platzer, a planning commissioner in Vallejo, California. We knew I was going to
First time Joey's reading it.
We knew I was going to mess up the pronunciation of something. Let's keep it tally.
California.
Resigned after drinking a beer and throwing his pet cat off screen in a Zoom meeting.
When Trump heard about this, he put Platzer in charge of the Department of Agriculture.
When Joe Exotic heard about this, he shot 2 tigers point blank in solidarity.
Did you write any jokes that aren't Tiger King related?
Maybe. No. Hashtag I miss masturbating in the library.
Don't start with that.
I have to. It was so quiet. It was great.
You look very quiet. We get it. Sorry. Justin Amash, a Republican turned independent congressman from Michigan, one of the only voices from the right critical of President Trump, announced on Tuesday that he's launching an exploratory committee for a third-party bid for the presidency.
He's like if Gary Johnson could read.
Nobody's going to laugh at that joke, but rest assured, that's a sick Gary Johnson burn. In case you forgot, Johnson was the 2016 Libertarian candidate for president, capturing roughly 3% of the vote.
Suck it, Gary Johnson. Aleppo forever.
The Department of Justice has unsealed some FBI notes about the investigation into former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn.
The notes show that the FBI knew that Flynn had lied and shows that the agents debating whether or not to tell Flynn that they knew he lied.
As a reminder, Flynn voluntarily confessed to the charges against him. And you know, he lied to the FBI.
Nevertheless, conservatives, led by President Trump, claim the new info shows that Flynn was framed.
Right. He was framed. He lied to the FBI. They knew about it. Then he confessed. Framed.
Who framed Roger Rabbit, Matt? Who? Who did it? Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, CNN, the FBI, the CIA?
Are you done?
The NSA, Joe Biden, the Washington Post, the anti-gun lobby, the ATF. I saw wacko. I know what's really going on, and I know that I said Waco wrong. I realized it after I was done screaming.
Well, I mean, yeah. My favorite part of right-wing conspiracy theories is that they assume the Democratic Party is this really competent organization. Like, the party that's getting ready to nominate Joe Biden for president is not capable of conducting, orchestrating, or executing a global conspiracy. That's not Wrigley. That's not Wrigley.
Tinkerbell agrees. That's my dog.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she knows.
Yeah, you know it. That's just what they want you to think, right, Tink?
Yeah, she's sounding the alarm. She's sounding the alarm. To celebrate First Lady Melania Trump's 50th birthday, Trump went on a rage-tweeting bender, complaining about journalists who won Nobel Prizes.
Clearly referring to the Pulitzer Prize and not the Nobel Prize, Trump later tried to walk back the comments by saying that he was being sarcastic. We thought it would be fun to be sarcastic too.
For instance, Donald Trump is a great president and an even better husband.
Oh, here's a sarcastic review of our show. This show is not funny. You guys suck. Liberal propaganda. #MAGA.
I don't think that was sarcastic, Joey. More like right-wing talking points make a lot of sense.
Oh, here's another review. Why is that guy so awkward? He should kill himself. #MAGA.
Oh, Joey, those are real. Please stop reading real comments about me. I have feelings.
Oh, okay, I got one. Matt sucks with a Z. Sucks is spelled with a Z, dripping with sarcasm.
You know that. More like Pizza Hut is a high-quality establishment.
This just in, I still like Pizza Hut. In fact, I had it before the show.
Oh, God. No, Joey. Did you just shit your pants again?
What? No.
Are you sitting in shit pants right now? We talked about this last show.
No.
Joey, are you wearing pants?
I'm not wearing pants.
Are you sitting naked in a pile of Pizza Hut shit?
I have a shirt on.
Oh, God damn it, Joey. Nobody outdoes the Hut. Nobody. Not you. Not me. Nobody. Pizza Hut. That worked out really good. Yeah. Full disclosure, Pizza Hut is a regretful sponsor of the All Right News Half-Hour Report. As the U.S. coronavirus death toll topped 60,000, Jared Kushner congratulated the government on a job well done.
You're doing a heck of a job, Branny.
While President Trump continued complaining on Twitter, declaring himself the hardest working president in history.
Yeah, and I'm the hardest working student at Albright College. Oh, God, I'm going to fail math.
Or did math fail you?
Yes. To spin the administration's disastrous response, right-wing media has pivoted pretty hard to fuck your grandma.
Pundits from across the troll fields of right-wing media have suggested that old people dying is worth the price of reopening the country.
As Ben Shapiro argues, life expectancy is only 80. So if your 81-year-old grandmother dies, that's sad, but hey, she's got an extra year.
Cool. Trump's played both sides of the coin on this one, both supporting killing your grandparents, but also realizing he can't get reelected if all the old people die.
As we debate sacrificing the elderly, people who have never been asked to sacrifice anything in their lives have been heading to the state capitals across the country to protest stay-at-home orders.
These pro-virus rallies really make you feel good about the state of our country.
Armed Liberate protesters in Michigan stormed the state house on Thursday to demand their freedom to leave the house to leave the house be restored.
I guess nobody pointed out to them that they had left their houses to protest not being able to leave their houses. Must have gotten lost in the whole, we bought a bunch of assault weapons inside of the state government building.
You know, can you imagine if an angry mob of armed black people stormed a state house? Like, for all of the people who don't think white privilege and institutionalized racism exists, please take a moment of self-reflection right now.
Yeah, you're right, Wrigley. We'll wait a little longer.
Yeah.
It's a satiric news show. There's a lot of white people watching, so they probably need another minute. Yeah. Got it? Great. As a reminder, these protests are not a groundswell of populism. They're a movement organized by far-right protesters.
The Associated Press NORC Center for Public Affairs research poll released Wednesday found that an overwhelming majority of Americans, nearly 8 in 10, say they support measures that include requiring Americans to stay in their homes and limiting gatherings to 10 people or fewer, numbers that have largely held steady over the past few weeks.
The poll found that Wrigley has read this poll. She wants you all to know. Somebody's outside her house. They're not social distancing.
Ridiculous.
You get him, Wrigley. You get him.
Attack him.
Good job. The poll found that only 12% of Americans say the measures where they live go too far. Here's a math problem for you, Joey. More than twice as many people, 26%, believe the limits don't go far enough. The majority of Americans, 61%, feel the steps taken by the government to prevent infections of COVID-19 in their area are about right. Even the majority of Republicans, 59%, support the measures.
Do you know how hard it is to get 8 in 10 Americans to agree about anything?
Only 7 in 10 Americans can agree that the Patriots suck.
Go Birds! Despite public health warnings and the feelings of the majority of Americans, several states are opening up today.
Dr. Fauci has warned against, quote, leapfrogging critical milestones like a 14-day drop in cases, a guideline President Trump himself announced on April 16th, and a threshold that no state has yet met. As such, Fauci warns that states opening today are taking a really significant risk. Boy, I wonder what's going to happen. Do you think the virus numbers are going to go up or down?
Down, Matt. It's not real.
You're right. I forgot. This is the biggest political hoax in the history of our country.
Despite all evidence to the contrary, economist Stephen Moore, who is on President Trump's task force to reopen the country, supports the protest, saying, I think there's a boiling point that has been reached and exceeded. I call these people modern-day Rosa Parks. They are protesting against injustice and a loss of liberties.
Not to be outdone, Fox News contributor and America's favorite casual racist, Tammy Trisha Lauren, posted on Twitter about the lockdown saying, quote, compliance starting to look a whole lot like willful slavery, hashtag reopen America. She later deleted the tweet, but again, we're in a really good place as a country.
The armed protests in Michigan seem to have had an impact as the Michigan House voted not to extend the government's state of emergency.
Several of the protesters celebrated the decision and told the local NBC News affiliate that, quote, the virus isn't real. Should I mention what a good place we're in right now?
People want to go to Applebee's, Matt. You can't take away their freedom. Give me half-price apps or give me death.
Do they let you bring Confederate flags into Applebee's?
Maybe Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A, not a sponsor. Could be.
While armed hordes threatened the democratic process in Michigan, just across the border, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced a ban on some 1,500 makes and models of military-grade assault-style weapons in Canada, effective immediately.
Wow, what a smart move. I mean, how dare he steal Canadians' liberty? Hunky Justin Trudeau said there would be a 2-year period for people to come into compliance with the ban and that the government would provide fair compensation for banned weapons.
Spreading liberal propaganda, Trudeau claimed that you don't need an AR-15 to bring down a deer.
Is he insane? Has he bothered to sweep his sexy hair out of his sexy eyes to take a good look at any sexy Canadian deer? You definitely need a military-grade assault weapon to stave off that threat.
While our neighbors to the north deal with the gun epidemic, Republicans here in the good old US of A are trying to murder the post office.
To be fair, sending mail across the country for 40 cents is an infringement on my freedom and my liberty.
Speaking of the mail, millions of Americans are still waiting on their economic relief checks, which were initially held up so that Trump's signature could be printed on them.
In Kentucky, the governor held up the unemployment check of one man because he thought it was a fraud.
Tupac Shakur had his unemployment check withheld because the government didn't find his ambitions as a writer to be a good enough reason to send him his check. But hey, when you're pretending to be dead, I wouldn't want all eyes on me, but life goes on. Oh, this just in. Our majorly white audience did not catch on to those puns.
I just nodded along. The governor did call to apologize to Tupac for holding up his check and publicly embarrassing him, but did reiterate that he prefers Biggie. I made a rap joke. The world is gonna end.
Good job. Hey, remember when Trump said anyone who wants a test can get one?
Yeah, it's funny until you realize how many people have died because Trump doesn't like to read.
The Senate is resuming session on Monday to push through right-wing judicial nominations, but many are worried about the spread of coronavirus in the chamber.
Just to put a button on the administration's complete failure, Dr. Brian Monahan, the Capitol's attending physician, said Thursday that coronavirus tests will be available for staffers and senators who are ill, but there are not enough tests to proactively test all 100 senators.
Despite the Trump administration's catastrophic handling of the coronavirus outbreak, there are still many Americans unsure of who to vote for in November. Here to comment is the dumbass who thinks both parties are the same.
Hey, put my hat on backwards. Now you could tell what a dumbass I am. Hey, you probably recognize me from your Facebook or Twitter feed. I'm the dumbass who just really thinks there isn't any difference between the parties. Now you might be thinking to yourself, has this guy been in a coma for the last 3.5 years? To which I reply, corporations. I mean, sure, one party wants to completely deregulate corporations and have no taxes, and the other doesn't, but they're both the same. Neoliberalism! I mean, sure, we're in the midst of a global pandemic that's exposed the hypocrisies and failures at the heart of the Republican Party. Like, who would have thought that a party that doesn't believe in government or science would be bad at responding to a public health emergency on a national scale? Like, the anti-government party is bad at government? Nobody could have saw that coming. Did I mention corporations? Fine. One side believes in science, and one believes in your cousin who graduated from high school with a 1.9 GPA and posted that video of those two YouTube doctors spreading bullshit with the caption, facts, it's called common sense. Has everything those doctors proven wrong? Yeah. Does it matter? No, because I can see the flaws in both parties. One believes misinformation and the other refutes it with facts. Sounds the same to me, right, son?
Yeah, bitch!
Oh, heck, please don't do that. Okay. Well, he's never getting back on the show again. Fine. Sure, Trump completely ignored the epidemic. Nothing I say matters now because all you're going to be thinking about is what Hank said. Fine, sure, Trump completely ignored the virus for 2 months, spreading conspiracy theories about it, touting dangerous drug alternatives with zero scientific backing. Sure, the GOP completely dismantled the government, decimated the pandemic response team, and can't even get tests for 100 senators. Are over 65,000 people dead? Yeah. Did Obama use Dijon mustard? You bet he did. Both parties are the same. Look, one party wants to dismantle all social programs, and the other doesn't go quite as far as I want. So in my progressively pure mind, or libertarian idiocy, that makes them exactly the same. Did I mention corporations? Obama ordered drone strikes. If you think about it, if you just ignore the huge differences, if you just pretend like the tens of thousands of people who are dying needlessly didn't die, if you just like forget that a moron reality TV host is like our president, then it's impossible to tell the two parties apart. I mean, I'm definitely voting third party, and you can't tell me otherwise because I have one thing that is unshakable. I'm righteous as fuck.
The dumbass who thinks there's no difference between the parties, everyone. He made some.
You guys remember when Hank was on? I can't wait to hear his thoughts on Hunter Biden. In other news, Don Jr. continues to complain about the Biden's nepotism, while Ivanka Trump has received yet another trademark from the Chinese government.
Junior's trademark on being a fuck machine is still pending. Hashtag dad never hugged me. Hashtag I cry when I come. Hashtag MAGA.
Hashtag corruption. To be fair, Joe Biden is hardly an ideal candidate. And as every Republican I've ever met has reminded me, with zero hypocrisy or self-awareness, Joe Biden is facing a sexual assault allegation from the 1990s.
Lots of liberals are having trouble believing women, it appears.
It's almost like our country has a history of sexism.
Oh, sure. Next, you're going to tell me that we have a history of racism. USA! USA! USA!
We do. The allegations certainly deserve further attention and investigation. One of the loudest, Donald Trump Jr., the least self-aware human in the history of humanity. Hashtag why am I like this? Hashtag nothing is good enough for daddy. Hashtag I eat lemons to feel something.
Hashtag women have boobs. Biden went on Morning Joe today to respond to the allegations, saying that it never happened. The allegations against Biden mean that both Trump and
getting treated fairly, and then like 4 years later, we get to pick between two dudes with sexual assault allegations.
To be fair, but her emails.
We live in the dumbest time.
Remember when Hillary was running a pedophile sex ring out of the basement of a pizzeria?
That wasn't true.
Speaking of which, a pizza shop in State College has been forced to shut down, but not because of the coronavirus or Hillary Clinton.
Or the pizza gopher.
Go Birds. Gumby's Pizza was giving people tattoos.
School parents across the country have begun to help teach their children how to learn.
In unrelated news,
Teachers anymore.
Liberate Pennsylvania.
My mistake. Also, third grade math is really hard.
So is college math.
Pass your team.
But we're in the midst of a global pandemic, and it would be nice if Albright would just cut me a fucking. Where's my snack? I'm going to eat dinner later. It's going to be another cheese baby boomer. Mary.
Oh, hi, Joey. Thank you for having me.
It's Joey. Could you, like, get that?
What? What do you need from me? Look, whatever you say, I don't know. Well, my grandson Sean. Nonsense. I keep going outside because Sean Hannity and Rush Limbaugh are right. This is all a liberal hoax, the greatest political hoax. Plus, people die in car accidents all the time, Dewey, but you don't see the government regulating cars.
Actually, they do regulate cars.
Well, I don't know about all that, you lying dog-faced pony soldier. You don't see any lockdowns for people driving too fast.
Well, speeding isn't highly contagious, and people get, you know, speeding tickets.
Well, I don't know about all that. The faster and the furriest would say otherwise. I don't get why we're all protecting anti-college words. Look, I don't know about all that, but my friend Eileen said on Facebook, she's right, maybe she's wrong. Who am I to say? I do know. I am just a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
I don't think most of what you just said is true.
Oh, it's true. Because facts are meaningless to me, Jewy. So my Shawnee, he put a who I am that. Oh. It's like their whole lives have been bookended by national trust. But some people are just lazy.
There are over 30 million unemployed right now.
You say unemployed, I say they need tougher bootstraps. But like Joe Biden whispered into my ear one time in 1974, I'm just a no good, dirty, rotten, lying, dog-faced pony soldier. Help you see the big picture of why we're doing all of this nonsense. Know what I do know is that I'm going to a Liberate protest next week. I don't want the government keeping me safe. It's my constitutional right to catch and spread a highly contagious virus, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. You Malenza all thought us boomers were going to kill you through climate change and crushing weight of unstable economic burden. Well, guess what? Now we've got coronavirus.
Actually, older Americans are at a much higher risk of dying from the virus.
You can say it, but I won't hear it. It's like I always say, if you reason with a baby boomer in the woods, will they still cut it all down and build a strip mall bookended by Radio Shacks? Yes, yes, they will.
Mary Beth Stevenson, everybody. I think I've seen some of those art house films.
You think you have?
Yeah. Oh, well, Dory definitely has.
Yeah. Does Dory want to swear on camera?
No, but she just bit my hand 3 times. So
a little snack break.
Yeah.
Apparently, in other news, North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un is dead, or still alive, or he's sick, or he's perfectly fine. We don't really know, but something happened to Little Rocket Man.
Speaking of something happening, the leader of the North Carolina Liberate protests tested positive for coronavirus because, of course, she did.
We live in the dumbest time.
As a reminder, the United States still doesn't have enough coronavirus tests.
Almost like the Trump administration is incompetent.
Almost. As we wait for tests and a vaccine, lots of conservatives have been letting everyone know that if a vaccine is developed for the virus, they absolutely will not get it.
Conservative activist Candace Owens tweeted on Monday, quote, "This is your daily reminder that under no circumstances will I be getting any hashtag coronavirus vaccine that becomes available. Ever. No matter what."
The tweet has over 79,000 likes.
The dumbest time. This is never going to end.
In other news, the Pentagon released 3 Navy videos this week, reportedly showing unidentified aerial phenomena. So I guess aliens are real?
You know who believes in vaccines? Aliens. And people who don't want polio. God, imagine living through a global pandemic that highlights the immense value and benefit of vaccines, and then still being like, nah, I heard that if I get measles and polio, then I can't get coronavirus. That's just science. Bill Gates! Oh, I also believe the widely disproven theory that you can get autism from vaccines, which is even worse when you kind of think about it, because I'd rather have my kid die of smallpox than be autistic, because I'm not only a moron, I'm also a terrible human being. We live in the dumbest time.
In Albright news, remember when they thought this was only going to last like 10 days?
Yeah. Students and professors from across the country are adapting to online learning, and everyone can agree it sucks.
Math is hard.
Professors across the country are realizing that they can't work the automatic camera on their laptops.
While students are learning how to avoid paying attention in Zoom meetings through TikToks. Just change your name to reconnecting and then ellipses. You're welcome.
Clever. Yeah. Now that classes are online, the college has had to rethink its branding strategy of no boxes, no borders, no boundaries, since every class now has absolute borders, literal boxes, and bandwidth boundaries.
You can't put me in a box. Fuck Zoom and fuck your boxes.
Whoa. That's the Albright spirit. We said no boxes and we meant no boxes. That means no boxes, not now, not ever.
Nada. 0 times 0 equals 0 boxes. Take that, math.
Boxes steal our freedom.
We said no boxes.
No virtual boxes.
No real boxes.
No metaphoric boxes.
No borders.
No
boundaries. No fucking boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck.
That went better than the other one. Stupid boxes.
Oh, good.
Should we do like some good news?
Like John Krasinski? Sure.
Yeah. The death rate is starting to level out, sort of. I mean, not really. I don't know.
That's good news, I guess.
There's an antiviral drug that's proven promising in early trials of helping people recover more quickly from coronavirus.
Patients in the study, which is in its early stages, generally recovered in 11 days rather than the average of 15 days.
That's some good news.
Yeah, good news.
Trump's new press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany, held the administration's first official press briefing in 417 days.
She vowed, "I will never lie to you. You have my word on this."
Since this is the good news section, we'll just pretend she didn't follow that up by saying that the Russia probe ended up with costing $40 million of taxpayer money, being lost in a complete and total exoneration of President Trump. Because we all know it actually only cost $32 million. The government's going to recoup $17 million of that. And of course, the Miller report explicitly said it did not exonerate Trump. But this is a good news section, so we'll give her the benefit of the doubt.
I wish my math class would give me the benefit of the doubt.
Sorry. South Korea, which had its first confirmed case the same day as the US, reportedly had 0 locally transmitted cases Thursday, and only 4 in the entire country, all of which were detected at the airport.
South Korea has also had about 65,000 fewer deaths than the US.
That's 2020 news in a nutshell.
2020. Even the good news is sad.
In other good news, I promised my kids they could each write a joke for the show.
About Tiger King?
No. So here goes. So Nils writes, Joey goes to the bank to withdraw $50 from his savings account, but the teller says, sorry, but you only have 50 hot dogs in here. And Joey says, I'll take them.
That happened yesterday.
Henrik writes, what's 9 plus 10?
Oh, math joke, really? Just rubbing salt in the wound. 19.
You stupid! Apparently 10's a 2-digit number, so you have to carry the 2, which makes it 21. I don't know. And Malin has a riddle. Okay, see if you can figure it out, even though you saw the answer in the script. I used to be plugged into the wall, but now I follow you everywhere. What am I?
Hot dogs? Oh, the Philly Fanatic. Loneliness. Joe Biden.
Phone. Looks for my kids, everybody.
Could have used more Tiger King references, but you know, they're good.
Sorry. And finally, my dog Wrigley has a joke.
Hey everybody, it's me, Wrigley. So what's the difference between a cat and a libertarian?
I don't know, Wrigley. What?
One sucks slightly less than the other one. Stupid cats.
Wrigley, everybody.
Ah, what a great joke. That was fun. Speaking of fun, today is May Day, an ancient celebration and festival of spring.
May 1st is also International Workers' Day, and to celebrate this year, workers at Amazon, Target, and several other large chains have staged nationwide strikes to protest working conditions amidst the global pandemic.
Errands across the country are furious.
Can you speak to the manager if the manager is on a strike?
I don't know. For millions of Americans, May 1st also means rent is due. Luckily for all of us, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin, producer of the film and apparent namesake of Trump's Reopen America strategy, Suicide Squad, said that the $1,200 relief checks should last people 6 months. So good luck, America.
I didn't get any economic relief at all.
Well, that was fun. A lot of people have spent the quarantine drinking and crying and drinking and crying some more. But between those activities, everyone has been binge-watching shows like crazy. Here with his binge-watching tips is everybody's favorite founding father, Benjamin Franklin.
Yo, 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 what up? Hey, it's your boy, Benjamin Franklin, a.k.a. Filthy Frank, a.k.a. Ben 10 plus 90, a.k.a. Ben and Gerrymandering, a.k.a. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn, ma, use thick, a.k.a. Ben there, done that, a.k.a. Ben Schwingsley, a.k.a. Ben I'm a Savage, founding father, satirist, inventor, writer, bad bitch. Sorry, I've been doing a lot of TikToks lately. Follow me at Benjamin Franklin. So anyways, I've heard through the grapevine, and by grapevine, I mean Rick Williams on 6 ABC News, that you guys are looking for some shows to watch and stream during this quarantine, John. Look, I get it. The shit's fucking boring being in quarantine. There's no Phillies games going on. You can't watch Joel Embiid and the Sixers choke in a playoff game. And there's only so much Philly porn to masturbate to.
I know I'm going to regret asking this. Every fiber of my being is telling me.
It's any video where the girl calls you Big Dick Nick. They use Crisco grease instead of lube. And then when you finish, you tell her to trust the process. The process being plan B.
I regret it.
Look, you asked, so I got to tell you, Matthew. Anyways, enough about my sex tapes, all right? Yous guys wouldn't believe all the shit that yous can stream right now. So I'm going to give you the rundown of what you're going to watch next. First, no fucking brainer. You're going to watch a classic, all right? It's thrilling. It's exciting. It'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry. And the ending, it gets me every time.
That sounds like quite the epic.
Oh, it is. Super Bowl 52 is available to watch on YouTube. The whole game. You can watch Tom Baby lose to Big Dick motherfucking Nick 41-33 and let your heart explode like a snowball in Santa Claus's fat fucking face. Go Birds!
Well, what if everybody wants to watch something new?
Oh, I got you. There's this new documentary out right now about Michael Jordan, and it's insane, right? Like DJ Jazzy Jeff getting coronavirus level insane. It's all about Michael Jordan's life. Now he's the GOAT, right? But then out of nowhere, he retires and to play fucking baseball. But wait, that's not even the craziest part of the documentary. So they recount this one day where he goes to play golf with Larry Bird and Bill Murray, of all people. And get this, he gets abducted. But wait, you got to get this. His kidnappers, a bunny. And it's not just any bunny, Bugs Bunny. And the fucking Looney Tunes. Shit's fucking wild, bro.
Frank, are you sure you were watching The Last Dance and not Space Jam?
If you're going to try to tell me that the Toon Squad didn't beat the Monstars 78-76 to save the Looney Tunes from being slaves for a Danny DeVito-sounding Aliens theme park, then you obviously have been watching the wrong documentary, Matthew.
Okay. What about something for those of people who don't like sports?
All right, I got you. I'll give you some quick synopsis. Rapid fire, all right? Netflix's Tiger King. Shit's crazier than getting called a dickhead on a SEPTA bus by a 9-year-old for no reason. Hulu, Dave. It's Lil Dicky's show, and he's from Cheltenham and isn't packing any heat, so he makes up for it by being really Jewish. Netflix's Bert Kreischer's stand-up special called Hey Big Boy. He does stand up the same way I discovered electricity, drunk and shirtless. Hulu's It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. If you can't go to church in Philly, just watch this, all right? And lastly, Disney Plus's National Treasure. Hey, any movie that names Nick Cage after me gets my stamp of approval, all right? And if you don't want to watch any of those beautiful suggestions that I've bestowed upon yous, then just watch The Office on Netflix for the 14th time. Scranton's close enough to Philly, so go Birds!
Benjamin Franklin, everybody. Always enlightening. And for the record, The Last Dance is amazing. And Michael Jordan is better at basketball than anyone else ever. For our final segment of the evening, Point Counterpoint, Joey and I will be debating who is the better basketball player, Michael Jordan or LeBron James. I'll be arguing for Jordan.
And I will be arguing for LeBron. Point. LeBron James has more total points, rebounds, assists, and blocks than Michael Jordan. While Jordan may have more points per game, LeBron's got...
Joey, I'm gonna stop you right there. Counterpoint. Michael Jordan is better at basketball than anyone else. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rings.
Fair enough. Well, that was short.
Want to argue about something else?
Like what?
Well, with everything going on in the world, history will not be kind to President Trump. For our final segment, final segment, Joey and I, let's argue about the legacy of Donald J. Trump.
All right, I'll be arguing that Trump will go down as our worst president.
And I will provide the counterpoint to Joey's liberal propaganda, proving that Trump will actually go down as our second worst president.
Thank you, Matt, you socially awkward vending machine of anti-American propaganda. Point. The last 3.5 years.
And it is at his own presidential library. That's the best they could do, at his own presidential library. Look at his hands. They're a completely different color than his face. Even they know he sucks.
That is a tall order, but much like your own gangly frame, it is one that ultimately shatters under the weight of Trump's historic failures.
Sure, Joey is super senior. Trump took no action to combat the coronavirus apart from spreading coronavirus conspiracy theories, but Buchanan did him one better in ignoring a bigger problem. He did virtually nothing in the lead up to the Civil War.
True, but your cookie-addled mind is missing one point. Buchanan could read.
Okay, I'll give you that one, you fifth string Nick Foles. But counterpoint, Buchanan influenced the Dred Scott Supreme Court case, which said that African Americans were not and could never be citizens of the United States.
Point. Trump doesn't really think black and brown people should be citizens of the United States now.
Well, that's true, Gritty's bastard son, though I think the gravy in your veins is stunting your thinking. Counterpoint, Buchanan supported the pro-slavery government in Kansas, which ultimately was defeated, and Kansas entered the Union as a free state.
See, his incompetence helped end slavery.
Counterpoint, when Lincoln was elected and the southern states seceded, Buchanan threw his hands in the air and pretended like there's nothing I can do. What am I going to do?
To quote Donald J. Trump, I don't take responsibility at all.
Counterpoint, the Civil War.
Point. You can argue that the Civil War was inevitable, whereas Trump's failures have been of his own making. He knew coronavirus was coming. We all knew it was coming, and he still handled it as badly as you handle small talk.
What? The Civil War.
Point. The Union won the Civil War. Point. Trump has had a new controversy nearly every day of his presidency. Remember when he used campaign funds to pay a bribe to keep a porn star quiet about an affair? Or when there was a 448-page document released that laid out all of Trump's nefarious dealings with Russia and then laid out 10 instances of obstruction of justice? Or what about the quid pro quo that with Ukraine or the disastrous trade war with China? We pay the tariffs, you moron. His only policy that has been passed is a massive tax cut for the wealthy. Meanwhile, he's banned immigration, set up detention centers, and made racism national policy. He violates the emoluments caused every day. He defers to Putin on nearly every international issue. Almost 24 women have accused him of sexual assault. He used the office to promote his hotels, Melania's jewelry line, Ivanka's clothing line, and Junior's book. Triggered. Hashtag my dad didn't read my book. Hashtag I didn't write my own book. He charges the Secret Service inflated prices to stay at his resorts. His Treasury Secretary stayed at his hotel for 5 months, which included a $33,000 bill for Secret Service stays. His campaign directly paid his businesses nearly $13 million in 2016. He settled a $25 million fraud lawsuit over Trump University, then paid over $2 million more for fraudulency using Trump Foundation charity money for personal reasons. He's committed tax fraud for fucking decades. Not to mention he's nearly 20,000 lies he's told while being president.
Counterpoint, he also keeps trying to take away our health care.
Whose side are you on?
I'm on America's side. Well, for the first time in the history of the All Right News hour report, point counterpoint, Joey Love has won, which really means we all lose.
It's a Philly tradition. This does then. There's breaking news with MAGA Boy at the Liberate Albright protest.
Oh, let's go back there. Well, MAGA Boy, is that you? Oh, yep, that's you.
It's me.
Well, you still think that coronavirus is a hoax?
No.
Oh, thank God.
I know it's a hoax. Stupid Pete Smith. Trump is America's Jesus. 40 more years. 40 more years.
Well, guess it's that time of the show. Time for Pete Smith to go jump off the roof of an old folks home.
Don't get coronavirus on the way down.
Goodbye, America.
USA! USA! USA!
Thanks for watching the All Right News half-hour report with Matt Foden and Joey Now. USA! USA!